everyone, welcome back to Function Pilates. Today is day 6 of our 8-part beginner series, and our focus is on balance. Balance in Pilates isn't just about standing on one leg. It's about finding stability through your center, control through your limbs, and awareness through your movement. So as today we move, notice how your body shifts weight, recruits muscles for control, and steadies itself, especially when things feel a little wobbly. That's where the real work happens. Balance also lives in how we approach our practice. Effort with ease, strength with softness, discipline with grace. Tune into the subtle shifts, stay connected to your core, and allow yourself to play with the challenge. Let's build balance together, and let's go ahead and get started.
Let's go ahead and begin and have a ball handy. We'll set that to the side and use that later. And I'm setting my springs up to 2 mediums and 1 heavy. Lying on your back, I'm going to take my headrest down flat just for the warm up here, and then we can organize that to a better position for you later. So as you get comfortable, maybe just windshield wipe those legs back and forth. We're going to begin with our pelvic tilts like we have been the last few weeks here. So once you feel like you've had some good stretching in, settle in, feet on the foot bar, and then you can take those arms right beside you. So let's flatten our back up against the carriage here to imprint, and then intentionally begin to arch your back, creating space between your low back and the carriage. The tailbone will remain grounded the whole time, but we're just going through this motion of creating a flat back and an arched back on purpose, basically, so that we can really integrate how our hips can move in all of our different positions when we're lying down or when we're seated or standing. So we want to find what we call a neutral pelvis. And this also is just a nice gentle warm up on the low back as well. So once you've had about 5 or 6 of these, let's go ahead and take one leg at a time into tabletop. Take the hands to the knees for our double leg stretch. Curl yourself up. You're going to simultaneously reach arms and legs at the same times, and then you'll circle those arms around. So eyesight is on the belly button just so that we are not compromising anything in our neck. So you want to avoid looking up, but you want to keep that eye contact towards your pubic bone here so that you're not creating extra tension in the neck. Beautiful. Inhaling to reach, exhale, take it around. Inhale, reach, exhale, take it around. Beautiful. Curl yourself up a little higher. Let's challenge yourself. Right into single leg stretch. So one leg is out, one leg is in, and we're just switching the legs and switching the hand position to each of those legs. So 5 on each side here, and you can notice that the hips are not moving, your upper body's not moving, and then take those hands behind your head and we'll add crisscross in. So the legs are doing exactly what they were doing, except now we're adding rotation through the spine. Think armpit to knee, armpit to knee. So not elbow to knee. And notice how that changes. And then go ahead and relax it here. Take a moment, capture your breath. We should feel that nice internal heat, which is what the goal is for the warm-up. Take your headrest to a nice, comfortable position for you, and we'll set ourselves up for footwork. So heels are on, feet are flexed, arms are beside you. Take an exhale as you straighten your legs. Inhale to bend. So just kind of piggybacking off the warm-up here, we want to set already that internal heat so that we can move off of that, the center of our core. So that is where we're facilitating this movement pattern as we go into each of the exercises here. So hopefully that makes sense to you at this point. You want to think about your chest staying wide open. So think of your collarbone creating like a large smile across your chest. Beautiful. Let's take it down to your toes. You're parallel, hip distance apart, heels are lifted. Exhale, we press it away. Again, we want to think equal weight distribution in all of our toes. Shoulders are softened. And really gathering that breath. We've been talking about that every single week, where you're going into your lateral intercostal breathing is what we call it. So you want to inhale and expand the ribs, and you want to exhale to basically tighten the ribs back in like a corset here. Good. Let's go heels together, toes apart, knees in line with the shoulders. Exhale, we press out. Inhale to pull in. And then if we, again, touch back up on the breath, when you're inhaling through your nose. When you're exhaling, I want you to really visualize like you're fogging up a mirror here. So it's called a ha breath. So again, just practicing how that feels and just starting to listen to the breath. Let's come up to your heels, nice and wide, externally rotated at the hip socket, press out, inhale to bend. So again, super controlled over the speed. And maybe you are moving a little faster as each week has progressed, which is fine, as long as you're able to simultaneously coordinate everything that's included, which is basically bringing awareness to your body, breathing. We focus on alignment, and we're focusing on that concentration. Let's come down to your toes, stay wide, heels are elevated, exhale, press on out. So think of just growing taller even though you're in this lying down position. It's almost like the top of your head is reaching behind you here. It's a gentleness through our jaw. Beautiful. And again, I'm going for about 10 repetitions, which is by default here. So as you are getting more comfortable with Pilates and on the reformer, you can add more or less. Let's come back to the center for our calf raises. So feet are lowering underneath the foot bar and then lifting. So we're about a hip distance apart position with those toes on the foot bar. Very carefully lowering those heels, and even more careful to lift the heels up as we articulate through the feet. Good. It's a nice, great strengthening through those ankles into our calves. So the back of our shins here. Good. Keep those hip flexors nice and open. And then we'll take it into our prances here. So you're going to go ahead and drop one heel under. You'll pause at the top, drop the other heel under and pause. And once you have a good coordinated rhythm here, you can go a little faster. But the main part about this exercise is that you're going to keep your hips stable. So keep those abdominal muscles drawn in towards the back of your spine. Beautiful. Nice and easy. And bring it back in. And we'll go ahead and set ourselves up for some single leg footwork. So again, adding in movement with our single leg footwork does challenge your coordination. And again, think of the leg that's not on the foot bar as still a very energetic leg here. So with our heels on, take the right leg, extend it over the foot bar, and then as you push out with your left, bend your right knee so that it's directly over your hip. So it's not coming deep into your chest. It's pausing over the hip here. And you want to also notice, what does your tabletop look like? Do you have a 90-degree angle behind your knee? Good. So you may have to slow it down if I'm moving a little too fast for you. Good. Press out. We're doing about 10 on this side. Drop that heel back to the foot bar. Extend your left leg out long. Exhale, we press out to tabletop. Inhale, stretch it over the foot bar. And I'm curious to know, what have you noticed when you're doing single leg work? Is one side weaker or more dominant? Do you feel like your hips are teeter-tottering? Like it is a little bit challenging to find that equal weight distribution? So I'd be curious if you want to drop your comments down there. I'd love to learn more about how this is impacting you. Let's bring it down to your toes and then send your right leg over the foot bar. Flex your foot, and as you press out, keep your leg straight and lift it towards the ceiling, like you're gonna stamp the ceiling here with the bottom of your foot. You can have a nice micro bend at your knee if your leg is tight, if your hamstring is tight, or if you have a tendency to hyperextend. Beautiful. Think of the leg lifting by using your core. I know that might sound really strange, but really visualize, really start to connect with that. And come back down to the other side. Left leg extends out long, flex your foot. Exhale, we press out, we lift. Good. So the toes will come directly over our eyes. And we're not swinging the leg, so it is very controlled. It might even feel like it's more work, especially if you have weaker hip flexors. Beautiful. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. Facial muscles are softened. And then let's bring it back in. Okay, so let's change our springs out. We're gonna go into our supine abs series. I'm going down to a medium and a extra light spring. And then once I'm done, I'm gonna lie myself back down. I'm gonna grab a hold of those handles. Again, you could be working in the loops too. I just prefer the handles. And then arms are up towards the ceiling, wrists over the shoulders. One leg at a time comes into your tabletop. Exhale, you're gonna press those arms straight down to hover off the carriage here. So if it feels good for you today, let's add that flexion. You're gonna curl your head and chest up. Think of this energy reaching out through your fingertips and even out through your toes. So point out through those toes and your fingers all at the same time. Think of hugging your knees together as a unit. And we're aiming for about 10 here, and we're gonna lead ourselves into hundreds. Just to give you guys a heads up. Exhale to curl. Beautiful. Let's hold it here. And now when you're ready, inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. You got it. Keep that breathing going. Keep the eyesight down into your belly button. Hold those knees together. Keep your arms long so your shoulders aren't shrugging up towards your ears. Beautiful job. Focus on the breath. Focus on your form. And very carefully start to bring the arms up and drop the legs. Give yourself a moment here to stretch, catch your breath. We're going to go into our obliques here. So you're going to have the left hand in, right hand on top, and then send the legs to tabletop, sway them over to the left a little bit as you reach and curl up to the right. So you're rotating to your right hip. And then again, really address that your shoulders are going to stay down away from your ears. And this should feel more challenging because we do have that heavier spring load right now with a unilateral movement. So if you need to reduce the tension, by all means, feel free. Good. Keep your eyes over the fingers when you're curling up as well. Let's switch it to the other side. So grab a hold of your handle. Let's take the right hand in first. Left hand's going to go ahead and stamp it right on top. Legs to tabletop. And you're going to go ahead and just sway your knees over to the right hand side. Exhale, curl up, reach to the left. Good. And really addressing through the internal, external obliques here. So believe it or not, we are working both sides of our obliques. Even though we are mainly reaching towards the left, our right side is definitely working just as hard. And if you're tighter from a postural perspective, it may even feel harder to reach one direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring both of those hands back in. One leg at a time into the tabletop position. You're going to go ahead and curl up, extend the legs, open, close, and bend the knees, return back in. So this is called coordination. You're gonna exhale, flex, open, close the feet, bend, and then lower yourself back down. So we reach, open, close, bend, reach the arms back up again. And reach, open, close. So be intentional with your open and close here so that they're not just like flopping out to the side, but you're squeezing those inner thighs together. You're activating from the outside of your hip as you open the legs. This is training you for abduction and adduction. So abduction and adduction. Good, dropping those feet down. Let's go ahead and carefully bring ourselves back up. And our abs should be feeling pretty good right now. Let's go ahead into some hip strengthening. So if you are in handles, go ahead and change those out into your loops. And I'm going to change out my spring so that I'm on a medium and a light spring. So I was on an extra light, now I'm gonna go to just a light spring. And then you can go lie yourself back down. Go ahead and grab a hold of your loops, placing one foot in at a time, finding that tension. And then take those legs straight up. Make sure you have some wiggle room between your shoulders and the shoulder blocks. Point those toes. And heels together, toes apart. Let's take it for frog. Exhale, press it away. Good. Heels are hugging together. We want to initiate this from the pelvic floor. So think of those Kegel exercises. The pelvic floor makes up one of the 4 components of the core, actually. So using your breath, using those Kegel muscle activation, extend those legs out, squeeze through those inner thighs like you're zipping up from your ankles all the way up to your belly button. Keep those legs straight. Let's go ahead and lift the legs up and then exhale to lower. So tailbone is going to stay connected as we lower and lift. And as we lower down, make sure that you're not arching the back here. We still want to maintain that neutral position. Exhale, press. Inhale to bring it back up. Beautiful. And lift. So this is going to lead us into our circles here. So when you're ready, go ahead and lower the legs down. We're going to separate them and return back up to the top. Exhale to press down, inhale to separate, and return up. Good. Very nice and carefully. Doing a few each set here as we go into our down circles. Pressing equally into the loops. Relaxing through those hands, so making sure that your palms are flat. Maybe even pressing a little bit more down with your triceps. And then let's reverse it. So the legs will go out to the sides first, sweep it around. Think of intentionally gathering this energy as they become magnetic. The legs just pull together. Beautiful. And keep that focus on your breath. And notice how much stronger you're getting. Like, do you feel different than when you first started out doing day 1? Are you more aware of exercises and movements and where to breathe and how to breathe? And then let's go ahead and take it into our swimming frog here. So back to frog, you're going to open out to the side, squeeze those legs straight together, bend into frog, extend the legs out to the side, squeeze those legs straight together. Yes. And we're going to just do about 5 each way. Reach out and pull in. Good. And then let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and reverse it. So now we're going to press out, open to the sides, wide V, pull back into frog. Press out, wide V, bend back into frog. So the goal with this exercise that I'm teaching it is to not have the carriage move at a certain point. However, if you are moving, that's okay. It could be more fluid. There's just two ways to teach swimming frog here. Good, give it a nice little pull on those ropes. And if I am saying things that you don't quite understand, again, leave it in the comments. I'm happy to explain more thoroughly to those specific questions. Let's go ahead and come out of your loops. And then very carefully, we're going to sit ourselves up and we're going to go into a stretch here. So I'm dropping it down to a medium spring, and I love having a knee pad or some sort of pillow with the specific stretch I'm going to do with you guys. So I'm just going to grab a knee pad handy. I don't have any knee issues. It's just more like comfort in that, if I should say that. So you're kneeling on your carriage, feet are supported by the shoulder blocks, and then placing your right foot on the ledge here. And then you can go ahead and just push on out with your left leg a little bit. This is a deep hip flexor stretch. We call this kneeling lunge. So chest is lifted. Try to square out your hips if possible. Arms are long and straight. And then very carefully, we're going to go into our hamstring stretch here too. So you can press out to a straight leg, but then again, square out your hips. So you don't want your left hip dragging behind you. I want you to think about pulling your right hip back, left hip forward. Let's do that one more time. So we're bending deep into our kneeling lunge. And then you can press out into your hamstring stretch, into your version of the splits is what I like to call it. But keep the hands connected to the foot bar. Arms are straight and long. Let's bring it back in. Nice breath to hold, and then we'll switch to the other side. Change out your knee pad as well. And if you're interested in where to get some of these props, if you're wanting to create more of an at-home experience or these props, let me know too. I have definitely links for all of this if you are interested. Good. Press on out, square out those hips. Shoulders are down, arms are long. Getting deep into the belly of the back of the thigh. Just really feeling that stretch here. And then bring it back in. Chest is lifted. So you can see I didn't introduce this earlier. This is day 6, basically week 6. Probably not the best stretch to start with if you've never done Pilates. So that's why it's taking me this long to introduce this stretch, which basically in every single workout that we're doing here, it's a progression. And that was the whole goal of this 8-week beginner series, is to understand how we can progress in Pilates, but without the principles and acknowledging that, it's really hard to teach someone. Okay, so let's move along. Let's go into a full body work exercise, and I'm going to use the ball here for more stability through the hips, okay? So in this beginner series, we call this down stretch. I'm going to have you guys have a medium and a light spring on, and then you're going to push away into basically a kneeling plank, right? Because you can see I'm in this diagonal, but your body isn't moving. So don't think that we have to push our hips back. I want you to focus on keeping your torso in line with your lower extremities here. And there's this sense of, as you press out, you want to almost open your chest, like you're shining your heart towards the wall in front of you. I like to call it like we're showing off our diamond necklace. Good, so press it away. Think of zipping up through your belly button here. So this exercise, the lighter the springs you go, the harder it will be. That's why I'm having you start with a medium and a light spring so that you can get the form correct and the breath. So we exhale out, we inhale to pull in. Exhale out, inhale, grow taller, chest open, shoulders back. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead into our arms. Once again, I am following the progressive flow. This is exactly how I teach it in our online teacher training program. Grab a hold of your box. We're going long box here. And then let's reduce that tension because that's really heavy. I'm going to go down to a medium spring. You can also go down to just a light spring as well, if that's what you'd like. And then we're going to add some fun here. Let's do some coordination. So I have the ball handy again. Grab a hold of your loops, sitting tall as you straddle the box. Take the ball in one hand, open your arms out into a hug-a-tree position. So your arms are to a T, soft bend. On your exhale, you're going to pass the ball through to the opposite hand and continue that way. So you may not think this feels like a challenge, but it really does create a little bit more awareness on how our position is. So sitting up nice and tall, again, focus on that breath as you draw those ribs together, belly button into the spine. And we want to, again, feel like our arms are on the same plane as we pass the ball, even though it's not weighted. And if you don't have a ball handy, that's fine. You can still, maybe you're passing like your water bottle and, an empty water bottle, I should say. It's just mostly about the coordination process that I'm wanting to get through. And then bring it back in. Good. You can set that prop down and then take your arms beside you. Palms are looking straight ahead. We exhale, we lift up and take it into a half circle here. So it's a little bit more robotic. Open out to the sides, pull those arms down. So you can, when I mean robotic, is that I'm not like sweeping my arms in one fluid motion. There's a moment where I pause here and then I open and bring it back down. And the reason for this is because I want to create more shoulder stability here. So reverse it nice and slowly. Slow and intentional does create a little bit more effort. And it really requires us to think a little deeper about every intentional movement that we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take it into a tricep exercise here. So let's take those hands behind your head. Elbows are narrow. And then exhale, you're going to go ahead and shave the head is what we call it. So you're going to straighten your arms, keep those elbows narrow, and allow this work to be developed into your tricep. And I am hinged forward here, so go ahead and hinge yourself forward if you're not already, but extend your spine. So get long, eyesight is down. Exhale, straighten the arms, inhale to bend. Exhale, straighten, inhale to bend. Beautiful. Good. Try to stay tall through your neck. And then lower everything right back down again. Great. Let's go ahead and hang those up. And we're going to carefully go ahead and come off to the side. Make sure if you are using a prop that it's in a safe position. We'll remove the box here. And we're going to go into additional legs. So I'm having a medium and a heavy spring on. Headrest is going all the way to the top and you're going to lie on your side. We're going to go into a side line glute and quad focus exercise using the foot bar. So stack your hips, stack your shoulders, taking your top sole of your foot, press into the foot bar and then bend. Good. So you're going to straighten out your leg and then you're going to bend into it. So double check that you feel like you're stacked. Shoulders. I'm holding onto the peg in front of me for just somewhere to comfortably place my hands. Your eyesight is looking straight ahead, so be mindful that you're not looking down at your foot. And then you want to have this beautiful alignment. So your knee is in line with your hip as well as your ankle here. Good. Exhale, press out. Inhale to bend. Let's go ahead to your heel, so like a half frog position, and then press on out. So nice and controlled, and I want you to really focus on squeezing your butt cheek as you press out. It's almost like you're putting on the brakes here so that it's a very smooth flow of movement. But this is going to be a lot more quad dominated. So the front of your thigh is going to feel this probably a bit more than your glutes, I would say. But like I'm saying here too, allow your glutes to be that muscle who's controlling the speed here. Okay, wonderful. Let's take it to the other side. I did about 10 repetitions for each variation here. Good. So we're going to stack through those shoulders, stack at the hips. The sole of the foot is planted and rooted into the foot bar here, okay? So think about equally pressing through the ball of your foot and your heel of your foot. Maybe puff your chest up a little bit to extend the spine and get long. Beautiful. Keep breathing, softening through those facial muscles. Allow for the abdominals to deepen on every breath. Let's take it into your externally rotated position. So heel is on, toes and knees looking up at the ceiling as we go through this. In this position, it's really easy to allow your hip, the top hip, to roll back. So just pay attention that it's not rolling back, which means you may not be able to externally rotate at your hip if you are feeling a little tighter there, and that's okay. Good. And bring it back in. Okay. Let's go into a mermaid stretch. So just take that heavy spring off and then zigzag the legs. So your left shin is up against the shoulder blocks, right hand is on the foot bar. Let's reach up and over, take that stretch, and then bring it back up. So we can stretch through that whole left side, we can work through the whole left side, right? So depending on how activated you are through your core, I want you to feel like your core, your midsection is what's pulling you back up into a nice tall seated position. Good. Reach up and over, exhale to bring it back up. And we're going to go ahead and take it to the other side. And we're going to take it to the left hand on the foot bar. Let's reach up and over and return. So just take a moment to feel how this side, is it tighter? Is it more flexible? Where do you notice the sticky parts of your body? Keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. Beautiful job. And then let's go ahead and finish it up with our extension exercise. So we're going to go into pulling straps. So I'm grabbing a hold of the long box again. And I'm just going to keep it on that medium spring is what I have on. You can have the foot bar up or down depending on you. I like to keep it up when I'm teaching a beginner client because it does remind you to keep your legs lifted the whole time. So grab those ropes above the metal buckle, lift your arms straight up towards the hips. Beautiful. So maybe this is hard enough for you and that's okay. But if you want a little bit extra bit of extension here, I'm going to have you lift your chest when your arms are going back. And use this as an inhalation to lift the chest and then your exhale to lower the chest. Yes. And it's like as if there were two hands pulling your shoulders back to open up your collarbone. Your eyesight is looking down. Beautiful. And you should feel your triceps as well. So the back of your arms. Beautiful work. Take a little breather there. Let's hang up those loops. And we'll finish with one more exercise. This is called swimming. So arms are out long, legs are long, and you're just going to alternate arm and leg at the same time. Eyesight is down. Keep breathing. Such a great exercise to work the whole posterior side of our body. And then take that breather. Maybe you want to take a child's pose here. Very, very nice. I am so glad that you guys made it today with me in day 6. Let's finish it with a couple roll downs. So again, standing tall. Let's reach those arms up. Let's go ahead and send those arms down. You're going to rebuild your spine here one at a time. And again, for those that are unaware, I am hosting a retreat in Greece in June of 2026. If you are interested in Pilates and Greece and meeting me, everything is in that description box with the link. I would love to chat with you and see you next year.